Hello, you're watching Telecom TV. My name is Martyn Warwick. We are here at the automotiveIT International Congress at a place called the Crystal in London's Docklands. It's a very nice, very warm day. It's even hotter in here with these lights on, as we'll find out in a moment and see how quickly we start to warm up. I'm talking with Michael Taylor. Michael, welcome, who is the ITIS Director with the Lotus F1 team. And as we were saying off camera, Michael, you'll have to lead me gently through this because I don't know a great deal about F1. So let's begin at a sort of primer level, F1 101 as it were. What are the big trends that you're seeing in the automotive, the racing car, the fast stuff industry of today?
Okay, Martyn, I think first of all, thank you for having me here. So it's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure for me to walk you through the world of F1 very, very quickly. So in terms of the trends, I guess the biggest trend really that we're focusing on now in 2014 is the major engine regulation or engine related regulation changes we've faced. Pre-2014, Formula 1 was deemed to be a very large beast, large V8, 2.4, normally aspirated engines, non-turbocharged, some small elements of energy recovery, but it wasn't relevant to the consumer or the road car industry. For 2014, we've had to change the regulations. We've had to make some significant changes to the power units in the car. We now run a hybrid power unit, very small internal combustion engine, 1600cc V6 internal combustion engine, but complemented with a large turbocharger, energy recovery systems from both heat and kinetic perspective. It's a hybrid. It's much more relevant to the mainstream industry that we obviously work very, very closely with.
Fascinating, because what we're doing here at this International Congress, most of the delegates here and most of the talk here is about the future of the connected car, the family car, the one that you see on the roads, not a Lotus F1 vehicle or anything like that. I take it there is some kind of a limited crossover in terms of the science and the technology that's involved that may one day transfer from something like the Lotus F1 team into the mainstream run-of-the-mill on-the-road cars?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we talk about Formula 1 being a hotbed of innovation, certainly from a technology perspective linked to performance vehicles. And over many, many years, there's been innovations that began life in Formula 1 that now feed down into the kind of general consumer space. Traction control, anti-lock braking systems, semi-automatic gearboxes, launch control, all of those very, very clever things. They're innovations that have been around for a long, long time. In terms of our car and our connected car, Formula 1 is very much a data-centric sport. We've been connected, or had a connected car, running lots of streams of telemetry and information systems for many, many years. I mean, our car now, we have upwards of 150 sensors on the car when it's on track. We generate in excess of 25 megabytes of data per lap of acute information that our engineering groups are using in real time to make business critical decisions about the running and optimization of the car. So, you know, it's not really a new thing for us. I think there's probably a lot around telematics that we can feed into the consumer space. There's a lot that we can do around the use and certainly the new power units, how we use and optimize the power units and how we make sure that what we're doing is relevant going forward for the industry.
So Michael, you're the IT and IS Director of the Lotus F1 team. What does that mean on a daily basis? What do you actually do?
Okay, my role is very, very simple. I lead the group that look after the technology and hopefully some of the technology innovation for the team. And that's across all aspects of our business. So we focus in two kind of key areas. The factory, so the factory systems where we do the design, the simulation and manufacture of the car. And then the track side, and obviously the track side system is where we actually run the car, the product that we see every second day on track. The focus of the IT group that I look after is to provide the kind of day-to-day lights on service, so traditional service support, capacity, availability, traditional networking, data center, storage, those types of things. But the other half of my group focus on being creative and innovative, and that's creating applications. And the applications are the key. That's really where the value is. So the competitive advantage of what we can provide to our engineering group to be able to make those sub-second decision making, that comes from the application development that half of my group look after. Our remit extends across the factory environment and also the trackside environment too.
You led me very nicely into my next question, which was to ask you, where does the technology and the technological innovation come from? It's a closed shop, it's a closed community, worldwide but closed. Who leads whom?
Okay, I'd really like to say that IT are at the forefront of the technology and innovation that we see on the car, but I think from that respect we're very much seen as a supporting or an enabling service. Yeah, definitely moving away from that kind of support organisation into more of a business enabling. I mean, let's be real. Technology plays a key part in everything that we do every day, and my group's responsibility is to ensure that what our engineering teams do, our design teams, our aerodynamicists, even the back office support staff, they have the right tools available to them at the right time to be able to make the right business-based decisions. The whole focus, the whole ethos of what we're trying to do is make that car go faster. The faster we can make that car on track, the more likelihood there is of us scoring podiums and scoring wins and winning championships, and the whole cycle starts again.
Continues again.
Absolutely.
Okay. We've skirted around a couple of areas. We've talked about the connected car, we've talked about sensors, we've talked about telemetry. What about big data? With all these sensors on the cars and all the rest of it, and everything going back to the pit side and then back to the factory or wherever it is afterwards for analysis, big data must be a big deal.
Absolutely, data is king for us. As I said earlier, very much a technology-centric sport where we've had the connected car for many, many years. We're actually collecting data now in all aspects of our business, so it's not just that car on track that we value the data from. Of course, it's paramount, it's the most important to us, but there are other aspects inside our organisation, from design, certainly through simulation, so being able to use virtual environments to be able to simulate the performance of the car, what's happening with the car, being able to understand downstream the effects of the car and off-car telemetry systems. Being able to do that virtually in the factory is very, very important. Obviously, technology plays a huge part there. But also in the manufacturing space, there's technology advancements that's making certain things that we do more accessible. So rapid prototyping, 3D printing, the technology advancements there in material science, for instance, and the ability to be able to very, very quickly and easily build solutions and parts. The reality is in the next 4 or 5 years, we're going to have those parts directly onto the car. We're not going to have to go into full heavy metallic manufacture on a number of things. The technology and innovation and enablement plays a huge part in the organisation as we move forward and as we grow and as we try and become more and more performant.
What role does IT and comms play, do you think, in shaping the F1 car of the future? We know where we are now. What about going forward?
I think, again, it goes back to the data and the big data piece. It's about the role of IT and comms is really about enablement, collaboration, being connected in this connected world we live in, making informed business decisions much, much easier. And the way you do that is by providing people with more informed or richer information and surfacing that pertinent information as quickly as you possibly can. Our different data sets are very challenging, and being able to provide correlation between those data sets will provide significant value to the organisation in the future. It's kind of very similar to what we're seeing in the consumer space, where people really want to understand their customer, what makes their customer tick, how they can sell to them, how they can be creative and be very, very close to their customer but without being oppressive. We don't necessarily have a customer in that respect, but our customer, for all intents and purposes, is the race team. So it's about understanding how they want to use the product, how they maximise or optimise the use of the product, and how we as a business can support them by designing and refining designs and improving the car and improving their connectivity and enable them to make those decisions, sub-second decisions we're talking here, very, very easily, but being very well informed whilst they do that. During the season there's a Grand Prix every 2 weeks. Do you travel around the world with them doing that? I don't personally anymore. I used to many years ago. So I've been with the team for 12.5 years. The first 2 years of my life at Lotus Formula 1 team was spent travelling with the team. Fantastic experience, very high pressured, very challenging role, but brilliant to get to see the world and really understand what our company, what our organisation is about. The reason I'm asking that is because presumably then, and I don't know whether the case now, you take the technology with you, obviously, to apply to the vehicle and on the vehicle and to analyse it at the time. Do you find that, depending on where you are, the bandwidth available in every possible sensor, I mean bandwidth and that, is the same everywhere, or does it different in Indonesia than it is in Montreal? It is absolutely, depending on where we are geographically, there poses more challenges. And we find that some of the newer Grand Prix venues and tracks that are popping up in different parts of the world, they're generally remote from a city, and they're maybe not in such established areas as we come to expect. Connectivity is still a challenge, absolutely still a challenge. Whilst bandwidth prices are reducing significantly, there's still connectivity challenges about how much bandwidth we do have available to us. And it's always about that kind of risk-reward scenario, balancing how much we spend on available or required bandwidth to how much we actually utilise it and make good use of it.
Have you ever been and driven in one of the cars?
I haven't personally, no. When I used to travel many years ago, I was used as the practice pilot for pit stop challenges. So I was propelled by 3 or 4 mechanics behind me, pushing me in, so maybe no more than 2 or 3 miles an hour. But that's my closest experience to driving a Formula 1 car.
I have actually sat in an F1 car. I can't remember what it was. It was moderately easy to get in. But look at me, it wasn't that easy to get out. You had to get the Vaseline and the Jiffy Lube. But yeah, it's quite difficult. They are small, aren't they?
Absolutely, they're optimised around the driver really, and obviously the smaller and lighter the driver is, the more effective we can be with the design.
Fascinating stuff. You have helped me very much to understand what F1 is about and what it's for and what it does. Michael Taylor, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Martin.